What's up, guys? We're going to be going over the effects section and the output section in Spire. It's this section right here. It's rather fun. So we have all these effects, they run in serial. I forgot to mention that. So the shaper goes into the phaser, into the chorus, into the delay, into the reverb, and we have wet, dry for each of them, and that makes sense. And that's pretty good. So I'm going to be using a sine wave to demonstrate the wave shaping. This is kind of like a distortion section, right? So we have a sine wave here which has no harmonics. So what distortion does is it adds harmonics, right? A filter takes away harmonics and shapes the sound, or adds them in certain areas, but distortion really adds upper harmonics, which makes things sound good, right? So we have different modes here. I won't go through all of them, but you can kind of use your spectrum analyzer to see what's going on and you know, make notes and find which ones you kind of like. My cats are fighting, so we're gonna go soft. I'll turn it up. So we have sine wave, right? We immediately see some harmonics there, which is cool. And I'm gonna turn up the drive, and you'll see harmonics being added. And the wave has been shaped. So we went from a perfect sine wave to something that is being eaten, basically, and we have lots of harmonics here, and that's a really good way to get a rich sound. That's what you want from like an analog synth, a digital synth, any kind of synth. You get neat distortion, and that's good. And we have hard, we'll shape it differently. Clip, which is more aggressive. Tube, I'm not sure how a tube works, but that's all well and good, right? So you have more, like say for tube 1, you have more of these little partials here preserved, because tubes do weird things, and that's all well and good. You have EQ and band on, so you can split, so it's a multi-band distortion unit, which is good if you want to have kind of the low end going through unimpeded by the distortion. You can do that. We have a sample rate and bit rate built into each distortion mode, so it doesn't get its own mode, and that is pretty good, right? So I'll go to saw now. Oh, we have to have wet dry on there. So bit depth, you know, obviously adds harmonics, and it gives it a, I think it goes down, I'm not really sure what it goes down to. It doesn't go to 1 bit. Maybe it goes down to 4. Anyone know? Let me know what bit rate it goes down to. Sample rate. Just the sample rate. So bit rate is up and down, is amplitude, the multiple states of amplitude you can have, and a sample rate is you know, we work in 44.1, and this down samples like an old sampler that you would run into in a pawn shop or whatever. That's how that works. All right, so next in the chain we have phaser. So, you know, phasing is pretty good. It does all that. You have multiple stages, right? But what really makes this interesting is it has, Spire has a secret filter. Ooh, it has a secret vowel filter, which you've probably heard, right? And we don't want that to modulate, so we'll turn off the depth, so it's not going anywhere. So then we can just adjust the frequency. I'm gonna go make some dubstep now. Be right back. Right? So it's a hidden kind of vowel filter, which is pretty cool. If that's how you get the honeys. If I helped you out to get some honeys, please donate and subscribe. So yeah, as I've said before, the effects run in serial. You can have this little pre-button here, so you'll put the phaser before the distortion, right? So you can have this talking filter go into the wave shaper, right? So you basically, with this button, you effectively send it to the beginning of the chain. So with that, you have distortion of that talking robot man. We'll turn off spread. So I'll turn pre and off and on so you can see what it sounds like when you have it before the distortion, after the distortion. Right, so it adds harmonics to that talking man, and it sounds really cool. Right, getting distracted here. Feedback positive and feedback negative. Right, so I like pre. Before I get distracted, I'm going to init. So that is a hidden filter of Doom. Hope you found that interesting. Right, so we have chorus. So what this does is, stacks it up, kind of like a chorus, like a choral of, like people in a church singing. Whatever you call it, a choir. Yeah, a choir. Right, you have wet and dry, and as you go up in modes, you go up in intensity. And you can have wideness there, and you can slow the rate down. And feedback will make it more harmonic. So you get like a flanger kind of thing going on. Right? I don't really use chorus that much, but you can. Who cares? Also, you can mute and unmute any section you want. So we're at delay now. What this does is it's a delay line, and you can have independent left and right. You can sync them, and you'll see up at the top here, you'll see what it's synced to. So you can have one at 16 and then one at 8. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we'll have the feedback boosted, and right, we can adjust the color. We'll add a filter to the effect. We'll widen it up, right, so you can get some really cool things. With delay, you gotta have reverb with delay, and here's our reverb section. I'll just turn that off right now. Alright, so we have different reverb. We have plate and plate 2. We can have the pre-delay synced, like in the virus. I'm gonna try to have that. We'll have that at 8th. Right, so the pre-delay, it's bouncing off the wall and coming back, and it's synced, as opposed to free running. So color is the tone of what's bouncing back, and damping it makes the sound less reflective. Right. So I'll give that, a couple voices. Right, as a kind of crude example. And then, of course, you'd have like a filter, whatever. All right, so we have that. All right, I'll init. What the heck is going on back there? Seriously, cats, come on. I'm almost done. All right, so we have our output section. We have a comp here, which is like an instant sound cool equalizer. It's like a compressor, and it just squashes the heck out of things. So you can have, it sounds kind of bare. And as soon as you turn this on, it just triggers into something that's really aggressive and really cool. And that's really good. Your volume here, of course, you can select your EQ. You can turn your EQ on, and you have a low shelf, a high shelf, and then a bell type of thing. So your low shelf right here, you can add more bass. I'll actually turn that off. There you go. adjust the frequency in the curve. Right, that's all well and good. I have to stop saying that well and good. Of course, your bell, if you want to add a bit of presence to a certain frequency in the middle, and then you have your high shelf, which will give it pregnant. The hell am I saying? Which will give it presence in the top end for like a pad, and it's all about how you shape it. So this is like a very aggressive kind of sound here, and this is just a simple saw wave. This is what it sounds like with a sine. Right, so you have the makings of a very, low end, whatchamacallit, simply with this amplifier output section here, which is pretty powerful. Kind of designed for dance music, readily available to kind of do that thing, and it's really cool. Yeah, hope you learn stuff, and hope you learn stuff. Take care.